Greetings, team. Like a lot of you, I have a Pi 5, and I've always wondered if these little desktop kits that turn the Pi 5 essentially into a mini PC are worth the $80 to $120. I'm gonna go ahead and find that out for you on one of the cheaper models. This one's $80 from Sunfounder, and this one is their Pironman 5. I believe this is their first model. It is gonna be linked below, by the way. We've got some instructions in this specific kit, detailed, we'll say. One of the first things on the top here, pre-laser cut and laser engraved little plexiglass sheet. So actually I didn't even know that they actually engrave the pins for you. So that's pretty nice. We've got ourselves the little OLED board right here. We've got ourselves some thermal pads, a battery, and some standoffs. All of the hardware we'll need. The heatsink, one way I'm gonna differ from this build than what you might differ from is I'm actually gonna use, because I already have it installed, the Pi heatsink that is created by the company that makes the Pi. This does have the same mounting points, and it is just a push-through snap-in that you would use these thermal pads that they came included with to put on all of the chips. Quite frankly, I still recommend just using the smaller, lower profile heatsink just because it's less stress and weight on the board. It is being held in by these pins on only two spots. This obviously has a lot more weight and lever action on it. Now, I'm sure it'll be fine. Just for reference, this weighs about as much as this. These feel about the same weight in my hands. We've got two smaller little fans that go on into the case. That's nice. We've got ourselves the grill and the PCI Express connections, as well as the power button. Do have another board. Man, I gotta tell you, it seems like it's almost worth it just for all these weird specialty boards. Okay, pogo pins. I'm curious where this one goes now. Here's the SD card extension. Very rudimentary. Here's our beloved PCI Express board. This model only comes with the one PCI Express and allows you to connect up 4 different versions of a SSD. And this is the board that turns your micro HDMI ports into full-blown HDMI ports. Now, they are direct traces, so I'm gonna see how well those operate, but it essentially extends these 3 connections out. So, and it looks like it also has a nice little real-time clock battery access. So that's actually really nice. I didn't know that was part of this. We get a nice little board extender, and this is what's needed to extend out for your OLED right here. Something tells me that there's gonna be a little bit of programming in with this. And I obviously do have a little screwdriver kit, but it looks like it comes with the screwdrivers you're gonna need, so. I guess that's nice. I almost wish companies would stop doing this, but whatever, these must be insanely cheap. Oh, even a wrench here, probably punched out of the same metal. So there we go, that's everything on the kit. And the first thing that we are gonna wanna do, disassemble, apparently. Then we're gonna go ahead and we are gonna take this and we are gonna add 6 standoffs on this base plate here. And of course the hardware is included for us. Yep, okay, those can go over there too. Okay, like I said, let's get to work here. Again, very easy instructions. I'm just following these off to the side here. The next thing it really wants me to do is take out my SD card. And you slide it up like so, right on in here. Yep, the holes line up perfectly. All right, and then we're gonna go ahead and take this board and install it right on in. You can definitely feel it sort of pop in there. Very nice. Should just pop right on in there. Yep, okay, no big deal. You can kind of do it at any point. And then we're gonna do one of the jumper cables. This board, which they've aptly named RTC, into the RTC connection right next to the power supply. This is the first Pi I've had that actually has the real-time clock. I believe these are the same cables. Don't know why we have 2 of them, but I will take them. The black piece goes away. It does show that specifically in the instructions, but this is what I mean. The little black piece goes that way, so it makes proper contact, and then you just push these down. Okay, we're gonna go ahead and set this on. Like I said, the heights are fairly important. Let me just say something here. There are a lot of small components on the bottom side of the Pi 5. So be very careful. So like I said, be very cautious on that. And I'm really happy that the items that we need to use to do this initial fastening are actually something you can thread on by hand like this, and our larger standoffs, because that ensures that the board's not going to move anymore. All right, and now it's the power switch, and slide this on through. You want to make sure you don't put too much pressure on the battery piece. Like I said, it is like right on top of there, so just be mindful of that. Onto the pogo pin piece, which they made a special board here that sits right on the contacts for the power board, so you can use the power switch. I'm a little impressed by that. That's kind of cool. There we go. I'm gonna go ahead and tuck these wires in like that. So you can kind of see it. Pogo pins are touching the two spots right ahead of the battery switch right here. And one thing to note for this, if you were previously using this in another project, let's say, that had soldered points onto there, when you desolder the wires, you need to make sure those are clean and clear and flush with solder, so that way you make a good contact with those pogo pins. Attach your SSD, which actually, you know what? I might have one that's kind of junky. Because you have to do the stud first. I have the 2280 one. You thread in your stud onto their little board here. You go ahead and pop your SSD in there like so. Take your other screw. Go ahead and screw that right on in. There we go. Okay, I did the instructions. It in again with the black facing upwards. And then you should be able to close it right on there. Ooh, and you don't want it to be crooked. So you really got to make sure it's flat here. And you guide those through there. You see them? The holes on the PCB actually push through and make contact through the other way around. That's the part that was throwing me. Rivet. Quantity 2 pieces on there. So we're going to go ahead and not lose both of them. Take that and just snap that right on through the 2 PCBs, because you're joining 2 circuit boards together. There we go. Push that through. There, held on there beautifully. We're apparently going like this, and okay. You pretty much put your filter over here, and then you put your fan down over that. They want the text facing out, and then you actually have the little leads facing into each other. So let's just go ahead and do that for you real quick. There's that piece. Almost done. Okay, and now we have to include our extension for our screen. Black side facing up. Plug in the fans. On the silk screen, you can see a plus and minus. So you match those up with the black and red. And keep the pair kind of together here. So we'll do 1 pair on this side. It looks like you do want to keep the 2 included jumpers that they have on the board installed, which apparently turns on the fan and the RGB. But if you want to turn them off, it looks like turning them off is as easy as opening the case back up and pulling these jumpers off, like this guy right here. And the expander just plugs right on in like this. There we go, I think. Yep, okay. We have to fold this in on itself, the little screen. There's a sticky backing on here, a 3M sticky back, and it mounts up directly on, there's a little outline, a little laser outline where this is supposed to stick on. Okay, there. Hopefully I didn't completely obliterate that thing. Man, that's in there tight. Just kind of got to hike this up a little bit and then put the screw in. There's a reason why they don't really show this backside in their marketing. Very nice quality feeling metal, by the way. Okay, that's starting to look like a computer case, isn't it? It has a little foam pad like this. And then to make it even better, we'll do all 4 like this. That's just so you don't scratch up any desk space you might have. Oh yeah, that's pretty good. Here we go. And what's nice is they put a little nub here to help support the PCB. So these little divots there, most likely there to help support the PCB, not to help you line up the plexiglass. Now that's very important that you don't over tighten on the plexiglass. It will shatter over time. So just kind of barely snug these up. Iron Man. Oh, There we go. Oh, look at that. It even protects your LCD screen. I love that. The thing that you do right after that is a light pipe. There's a mushroomed end. The mushroom end is the one that's gonna stick out. And now if I plug this in, it should still force me to, oh, just went right back. Just went right on. Wow. I forgot the most important thing. My SD card. Ha 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 ha. How are we gonna boot without that? All right, now we'll actually boot it up. Hey, we got some status lights on our Pi. It should shut down if I hold this button down. Yep, beautiful, just like a regular computer. All right, let's get this set up at a desktop and finish the review. All right, here it is running with the OLED screen functional. What it's showing me is CPU usage, temperature, RAM, and then the new disk usage, which showing 0 right now. Now, what's interesting, the fans are pretty loud. Now, what's neat is after you go to their website that they put on their pamphlet, I went ahead and printed it. I'm gonna go ahead and stick it on the back of here just so I always have it. You go there, it goes you through the setup process, including how to install Pi OS for some reason, but whatever, it includes it. Part of that is it goes through the commands needed for the setup, but I went ahead and copied them over and put them on a little text document for me, and then it'll live on my documents here, so I'll have that indefinitely. One of the things it does mention, you can actually set the performance mode for the fans, so they're not constantly blowing on. By default, they're just always going on. So I'm going to go ahead and set it to 3, which this claims it's balanced here. And then you have to restart the Pironman 5 service, and then you'll see it flicker off, and then it will reboot. And there we go. The fans are off, and apparently they will turn on. I did it at 3, so they will turn on when the CPU is at 67.5, and currently we're at 43.5. Another thing I wanted to show and why I think getting a Pi 5 case is a great idea, as long as you get one that has the GPIO exposed, because as you can see, you can actually do little projects on here. The GPIO exposed on a Pi is what sets it apart from a mini PC, because quite frankly, with the price of Pis these days, getting a Pi case and getting a little external SSD, it comes about to be the same price as a little mini PC. The only benefit that you have on a Pi is you have control over its firmware. I got this little Python script running in the background here, and it is my little light show. We'll go ahead and stop it right there, and as you can see, the LEDs turned off. If we run that, I can blink 2 little LEDs driven directly off of the Pi 5 GPIO. So obviously, if you're going to use this, you're going to need the extension cable. I happen to have the little breakout board, which is very nice. So if you are planning on actually using it in this form factor, get the ribbon cable and the breakout board and the breadboard. I'll go ahead and link this as well as the Pi 5 case in case you wanted to do this exact thing. The only critique I have of it, and it's not really that big of a critique if you don't plan on moving this thing around a lot, the HDMI feels a little loose. It plugs in fine, but you can see that it's got a little wiggle to it when you plug it in. It doesn't feel secure. It doesn't feel like plugging into the side of a laptop, let's say. So, you know, I think it's still better than lugging around the Pi and having to have one of those silly little dongles like this guy plugging in and out, which this did not feel very secure. So for the record, that feels a little more secure than plugging this little guy in and having the bigger HDMI dangle. I really can't complain, but I feel like I had to bring it up to you. I'll leave links to everything that you're kind of seeing here in my description. If you want to pick one up, go ahead and get one. I think you'd be very happy. Until next time, I'm the Ill-Informed Human. Bye-bye.